Everyone's Killshot 99 Gaming. This is Play Dead Live. We got the Crypts, we got Vox, we got Ark, and this is a battle of first place. I know you guys have been waiting on this. This is going to be a lot of fun tonight. All these matches have been phenomenal, and there's potentially some new items, some new abilities that that could be implemented in tonight's match. So, can you guys hear me loud and clear? If you can, give me triple nines. I got some super chats to get to. I got Valar in the house. Hello, 99 Army Kills Great Mods. Channel member sponsors PDL Auction House. We got the Crypt, and we also got Deadly Dimes 71 months. I believe it. Long time loyal listeners. We got Deadly Dimes, Vox, and Ark. So there's also one more thing that we're going to do a little bit early tonight. A little bit early because I heard that tomorrow is a special birthday for somebody that might be playing tonight. So I just want to say a big, big happy B-Day to the Shaman, Shammy Sheila in the house. Happy birthday to you. You know what? What a great place to celebrate your birthday because it is, PDL. I just think birthdays and packs and boxes and legends and all those cool things you can get is just the way to go. And we do have a box event coming up for you guys next Saturday. So this Saturday we got Fish Bingo coming up. We didn't have a big turnout last week, but y'all are going to be here this week. I'm gonna be calling all of y'all personally to make sure that we get some people lined up for our bingo match. We got Bones in the house super chatting it up. Happy birthday, Sheila. Thank you so much for that super chat, Bones. Look, you get a little 999 heart sticker when you super chat. That's what you get. It's like a 2-for-1 thing. You get the pleasure of super chatting, get to make somebody feel good for their birthday, and of course, you get the little look in the top right corner. Get the little 999 logo. We got Deadly Dimes in the house. Happy birthday to Sheila as well. So we're pushing toward that box, and Shaman, this is what we do. Jim Stone in the house. Whoa! Jim doubling it up for Julia and the Shaman. There you go. Jim's like, I got to make up for Monday night. Big, big happy birthday to both. We got Busy Bee in the house, too. Thank you so much for that, Jim. Busy Bee, happy birthday to her partner. All of y'all are getting you're getting some little 999 logos. All right. That's what I'm talking about. That is some box power there. Awesome. Man, you guys gonna make me lose my voice. Awesome stuff, everybody. So I'm just super, super thrilled to be back doing what we do. We got Kel in the house. Big happy birthday to the shop. Kel wanted that sticker. You know she did. See that? There you go. All right. You guys are awesome. So, hey, and you know what? We got we're just getting started. All right. Thank you, everybody, supporting our players and just making their special day even more special. So, tonight, these matches are always a little bit crazy because both teams come in riding a high note. Both teams think they are the best in the league right now, and they should. You got Vox coming in at 2-0. You got Art coming in at 1-0. Valar in the house. Don't worry, I got you, Shaman Hunt. This is not your gift. Valar, what is all these extra gifts that I don't know about? I keep seeing Valar chatting, and then she's got some secretive gifts going on. But you know what? Valar's still getting she's still getting a 999 sticker. And she's got some covert operation going on as well. All right, you guys rock it. All right, so look, Vox 2-0. 1,400 point differential. They have been killing it. They're very confident. They're playing good. On the road, home, you name it. Vox has got that rhythm down. But tonight, they're going into the 4-time defending champion Ark. Vox was the only team to beat Ark last season. So this is a rivalry. It is a tried and true rivalry. I have been looking forward to this match. I know there's been good planning on both sides. So it's going to go down. We also, Monday night, we got Ark traveling to Sly. We got Ark back-to-back road games because it's a makeup game. And, of course, Wednesday night we got you guys doing the Ship Strike. We're back with Ship Strike. So much fun. We're going to get to that next Wednesday night. It's going to be a blast. All right, so we've got, like I said, Vox 2-0, Ark 1-0, Mir with a big win the other night, and Sly just had some bad luck starting out, but I think we'll see the best of Sly Monday night. All right, let's get to the Sliver Sacrifice. We always do this first. We're not going to do roll time tonight because we got Money Tree, but we got to find out which sliver, which type of grenade are y'all going to be sacrificing. How many people want to see Unforgiven? How many people want to see like Vox and Ark just use all their Unforgivens? No? Probably everybody is not Ark and Vox. All right, here we go. We're going to spin that wheel and see what it's all about. Sliver Sacrifice, spin it. It is. Oh, Snowstorm. Snowstorm. Well, you know what? That's a good grenade, too. So we're going to see how slivers come into play tonight. So, I will tell you, a lot of these items show up on the shop shocks, so look for these items. And if you know somebody's got 20 or 30, get them shared. Now, remember, you got between now and the time the match starts to message people in your faction and say, hey, I don't have any snowstorms. Give me 1 or 2 so you can sacrifice. So you got 3 minutes to do that before the match starts. All right, Ron, what time is it? We're going to give away 260 kills tokens to one of y'all. We're going to have a epic reload coming up for y'all too. So look for that epic reload coming up. It's spin time, baby, says Father Ron. All right, let's spin this money tree and see which one of y'all is going to walk away with 260 kills tokens. Spin that wheel. Let's go, let's go, let's go. It is going to be Deadly Dimes 260. That might be. Dimes, that the first time you've ever won a spin? Maybe? If it is, congratulations. Deadly Dimes with 260. Big congratulations. See, anybody can win. Anybody can win it. All right, tonight's match, we want to get it started on time, so let's get down to business, y'all. I need Ron, Trigger, Cat, Crimson, Valar, Julia, Pope, and Gemstone. Give me your pre-match buffs. Y'all are as fired up as I am. This feels like a championship match. Don't forget, it was Vox and Ark in the Kills Cup. So these two have a history. They definitely have a rivalry brewing. All right, looks like we just need Gemstone, right? There we go. All right. We got everybody's pre-match buffs. Here we go. Take you down to the Ark Crypt. Tonight's starting lineup. Going first in the DZ over in heaven, we got Pope. After Pope, we got Cat. Cat going first for Vox. She's in the Rover Zone. Cat's followed by Julia in the Rover Zone. She's the captain. Julia be followed by Trigger. Trigger is in the DZ Hell over on the left side. Trigger be followed by Valar. Valar is the sniper. She is in the Bomber Zone. Valar followed by Crimson. Crimson is Siege. She's been an Angel of Darkness lately. Crimson is sieging from the Bomber Zone. Crimson followed by Gemstone. Gem is sieging from the Tank Zone. Both teams choosing Tank. And going last is the Messenger of the Lord. He is in the Tank Zone, and he is the sniper and also the captain. It is exactly 8:30, everybody. Pope, you are on the clock. 20-second timer starts right now. Pope beats the timer. He's going to go boss to Main Street. All right, Pope. Boss in 1 would cap in 3. Absorption, negation wand, triggers alien wand. So negation wand, we're going to take air wands out, no alien wand for trigger. Let's get that absorption over to Pope. Seal, Denim to the Flame, MD 8, and Max Spark Ron. Boots of Dancing. All right, Ron says you ain't slowing me. And the grenade hits. All right, boss to Main Street, absorption, negation wand is good. Seal, Denim to the Flame. Let's get rid of that flame. And Ron is going to dance out of it. Let's go over to Cat. Cat, you got a 20-second timer starting right now. Timer is up. Nerf timer is up. All right, she did beat second time penalty. Get in the rover, move to their DZ. Let's give Cat a tire. Immortal Needle to the haystack. All right, Emo Needle. In 1, we cap in 2. Julia hits her weight. Let me know. Waiting on you. Seal, Max Spark Gem. Don't wait for me to read it. All right, S6 Snowstorm loaded to the wall and sacrifice a Snowstorm to the sliver. All right, it hits. Black block. 70% of a green block. I got 30 green remaining. And we're going to freeze that top arc wall. And they do pay the sacrifice. All right, Rover, Movement, Immortal Needle, Seal, Max Spark Gem, S6 Snowstorm to the wall, and Sacrifice to the sliver. All done, but not within the timer. Let's go over to Julia. Julia, you got a 20-second timer starting now. Beats the timer, barely. I'm going to jump into Rover. Let's give a tire to Julia as well. Sleet Wand, Zysis to Ron. Ron, no War Dragon for you. All right, let's get that Sleet Wand in play. Ice Wands are off the board. Freeze the rest of that green block. Immortal Grendel to the haystack. All right, Immortal Grendel is going to eat the needle that is there. So straight up kill mode right there. Does take an immortal to kill an immortal. E1 Gen loaded to the Watchtower. Sacrifice Snowstorm and send another Max Spark over to Ron. All right, let's light that first Watchtower. All right, Julia, where do you want the 10% damage to go? Person or to a wall or to where? %. Remember, it is a drain. All right. So, it does not break the ice block. So that 10% makes that black block 90%. So at 90% of a black block, frozen block stays. Ron, you are correct. Grendel is a placeholder. Sorry, I'm new to this too. So we're going to back that out. Grendel has to be played as a placeholder before. All right, so we're going to put that needle back. And we're going to put Grendel here. Now, what that means is, that means this needle can still be attacked, but any future needles would be devoured by Grendel. All right? Grendel has to be kind of set the plate. Good challenge. Thank you for that. All right, let's go to trigger. 20-second timer trigger. All right, trigger is going to DZ portal. Over to the Pope. Dark Boss to their chest. Trigger playing Dark Boss in 1, cap in 3. Could be worth an extra 25. Seal, Max Spark Jim. Jim can't move this turn. Till after her turn. Steal Valar's needle. Rage St. Milo to the Watchtower, and Sliver ability to pump their Sliver up to 15. First Milo hits. All done within the timer. Let's go over to Valar, who has no needle. 20-second timer, Valar. Beats the timer. Valar going to move up to the temple steps. Wicked Boss. To the other chest. Valar playing Wicked Boss in 1, cap in 3. Could be a minus 50. Valar going to play Holy Avenger to their wall. That is going to get rid of the ice block, and no ill effects can happen to this wall. And that is not a full black block. That's a 90% black block. Playing a Seal and Thrill. Going to put a second max spark on Ron, so Ron is going to be stuck where he's at, just like Jim. And F5 Snowstorm to the wall with MD8. All right, Ron going to halt it 4 times. And again, it doesn't matter if it's a snowstorm because that black block has already been damaged. But Ron is going to halt it. It's going to make it a S1, Mass Destruction 16. It will get rid of the rest of the black block. But there is no negative effect to it because it was not a full black block. So, 1 block down for Team Arc. All right, let's go over to Crimson. Crimson, 20-second timer starts now. Crimson beats the timer. Crimson's going to move to the temple stairs. Immortal Grendel to the haystack. All right, so we got each team with an Immortal Grendel out. That means the next needle, unless it is a Colossal, well, actually it won't matter. The next needle played by either team will be instantly devoured. Dropping a Seal. Going to go Grizzly to the wall and MD8. Julia hits her weight. It hits. Going to break that ice block. All right. Walls are about the same. Neither one of them are frozen. Movement's good. Immortal Grendel's good. Seal, Grizzly, and MD8. All right, let's go over to Gemstone. Who cannot move? 20-second timer, Gem. Cannot get into the tank. You can't move. All right, so Gem is not in the tank, but she's in the tank zone. Masara, Nader, Seal, F4 Snowstorm to the wall, and Mass Destruction 8. Mass Destruction is up to 24. And again, no Cannonball. All right, we're going to roll for Masara. Masara is a 12-sider. And it will hinder if it is. 1 to 6. Ouch. Ron, round number 6. Everybody in box will get a hinder. All right. And Nader's going to apply dust smoke to everybody in Vox. Ron playing Joker. All right, Ron using his legendary Joker. Let's get a reroll. That is his one legend. Round 10, there is no hinder. It's good reroll. All right. There will be no hinder in round 6 for Team Vox. All right, Nader is going to apply dust smoke to everyone in Vox that lasts one round. All right. And a snowstorm loaded hits. It will deal damage, but it has no effect because we're already on the green. After mass destruction, green block, and 60% of a green block. We got 40 green remaining for Team Arc. All right, final move, Ron. Round number 1. You can't move, but you get a move. 20-second timer. Beats the timer. Ron going to play regular Woodrow. That bomber zone cannot be occupied until Woodrow is killed. Dropping a seal, Aqua to the temple, and sacrifice a snowstorm to theirs. All right. Ron is going to sacrifice to get rid of it, and going to Aqua to temple. And Ron no longer has dust smoke, but I'm going to put this over on Trigger because she will for one round. So Trigger, Crimson, and Cat will all have dust smoke. All right, and that is the end of round number 1. At the end of round number 1, let's rotate Crimson into the temple. That means we get a blessing for Valar and a blessing for Crimson. Strawman 0-0. DZ, Vox 25, Arc 0. Cat with a halo. Trigger with a halo. Pope with a halo. Cat getting devil horns for Crimson. 25-point devil horn. At the end of the round, Vox is going to lose one of their sliver buffs. Arc is going to lose their last one. It's still alive, but it would die at the end of this round. At the end of the round, Arc has 17 points in slivers. Vox has 15. All right, good first round, a lot of action. Let's go to round number 2. Pope, 20-second timer starts now. Beats the timer. Going to go Colossal Kang to his boss. Possible 73. The Caps. Seal and Thrill. All right, going to move Pope down to get in range. Gonna amp 3 and Gold Spark Crimson. All right, they're going to Judas that summoning grenade over to the other wall. Julia. Amplify the wall. I'm going to amp that wall up. Pope going to prevent it. So there's no orbital, there's no summon, and there's no hit. Colossal Kang is good. Seal and Thrill will fizzle because he already had a seal. It would have been an S11 summoning grenade. It got redirected. The amp goes and the gold spark goes, all done within the timer. Thank you, Pope. All right, at the start of Cat's turn, we're going to cap a needle. First needle of the game, early scoring. Now we got 2 Grindles out. And we go to Cat, 20-second timer. She beat the timer. Going to go Stasis to Julia. Playing a Pet Repel as well. M7 Maximon, remember, she does have Dust Smokes, be a 25% nerf. So M7 Maximon, and going to play Sliver Ability to pump up Box's Sliver to 20. Julia, does the Maximon hit or no? Mortal Blue from Valar. All right, Mortal Blue would hit Cat and break her seal. So Stasis is good, Pet Repel is good, Sliver Ability is good, Maximon is denied, and the Immortal from the Immortal Blue is a seal breaker. Cat going to max absorb and keep her seal. At the end of that turn, Pope is going to Glacier the wall, which means that wall is frozen, will take double damage. Neither Ron nor Jim are max sparked any longer. Wall is glaciered. All right, let's go over to Julia, 20-second timer from the Rover with Stasis. All right, Julia going to play Cube of Clarity. Colossal Kang to Pope's Boss. Could be worth 73. Going to move down to the tank zone. Going to play a seal. M7 Maximon loaded to the wall with MD8. Ron says it hits, and it does deal double damage. Ouch! Because of the Glacier. M7 Maximon. It'll be minus 15 for Team Arc. And the damage is going to be Substantial. Green block, blue block. Blue block, blue block. 4 blocks for Team Arc with the double damage Glacier. Glacier is gone. The wall's no longer frozen. Arc had Amplify and 32 mass destruction on that wall as well. Trigger, you're up. 20-second timer. Trigger beats the timer. Needle to the haystack. All right. This needle by Trigger will provoke the Grendel. All right, Trigger's needle dies. And Julia's Grendel dies. Only Grendels out there is Cat's. Actually, who played that Immortal? Crimson. It's Crimson's emo. Grendel. All right. Crimson has the only Grendel out there. Going to go Torment to Julia. E2 Milo to the Watchtower. I like Watchtower number 2. And play to Milo. Sacrifice Snowstorm. Pump up that sliver. Got 3 rings. All right, Valar, over to you. Who is inside the temple. Sorry, I didn't move her there, but she is inside the temple. 20-second timer. Beats the timer. She's going to go Colossal Kang to the Main Street boss. Drop a Pet Repel. Steal Crimson's Needle. Sacrifice a Snowstorm to the Sliver. And a Maximon loaded to the wall. All right, we'll sacrifice, which will give them 1 ring. Ron says wait on M7 Maximon. Cat's going to prevent it. All right, let's go over to Crimson. 20-second timer, Crimson. Beats the timer. Crimson, Colossal Kang to their boss. Could be worth 73. Pet Repel, F4 Max Mike to their wall. Cat no longer affected by dust. Trigger no longer affected by dust. And Crimson is currently Colossal Kang, Pet Repel, F4 Max Mike, and sacrifice a Snowstorm. So now we got 4 rings, which is the max. Julie says it hits. All right. is going to nerf it 25% because of the dust. And that was a one-round dust smoke because it was played by the nadir, not your regular dust smoke. All right. How did I... Let me pause 1 second. I did, but I don't know how I got those two blue blocks back for arc. Can you guys confirm that last grenade hit was green, blue, 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 correct? All 4 of that blue was gone. And I don't know how I just put 2 blue blocks back up. 1 second. Ron, can you confirm that? I want to make sure the other team knows. Nothing crazy is going on. I don't know why what I clicked to get those 2 blue back up there. No, I haven't gotten to that yet. I haven't done Crimson's attack yet. But prior to Crimson's attack, I need you to acknowledge that you saw there were 4 red blocks, all right? And again, I don't know how they showed back up because nobody did anything to that wall. All right. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, that's what the wall is supposed to be. That's where we left it, and I inadvertently, I guess, did that. All right. Let's leave it. Okay. Now we get to Crimson's attack. Now, Crimson had dust smoke, but she's also got the devil horns. So that's going to balance it out. So she will get the full effect of that F4 max mic. So the F4 max mic is going to rebuild a blue block and 20% of a blue block. So that is 1.2 Team Arc with her rebuild. It kind of worked itself out almost because we do have the 2 blue blocks, but it's 1.2 of the blue blocks. All right, and final move for Arc this round is Gemstone. Gemstone, 20-second timer. Jim going to hop in the tank. Let's give Jim a cannonball. All right, move to their DZ. Drop a fear smoke. Going to play a Mythic Kang, Pope's boss. Mythic Kang could be worth 63. Going to sacrifice a Snowstorm and an E3 Milo to the Watchtower. All right, Snowstorm is going to give us 2. All right, Ron, we're going to Fear Cat, and we're going to throw E3 Milo. It hits. All right. Fear is going to move Cat into the no zone. Milo, gonna like Watchtower number 2. And Jim with a cannonball. All right, final move of round 1, Father Ron. 20 seconds. Beats the timer. Ron gonna get in the tank. Let's give Ron a cannonball. All right, cannonball for Ron. Each team with a cannonball and a tire. He's going to move to his own DZ in the tank. Going to play Wicked Kang to bounce Popes. Pope's Kang goes back to him. Ron plays Wicked Colossal Kang. Ron, your Wicked Kang is Colossal. That's correct, right? All right, now, because you are unholying the fear smoke, you get no E2 because your unholy smoke counts as your attack. Because you are in the DZ, Cat is not in the DZ. And you're not playing it on yourself, you're playing on another player. So, no E2 Milo. Playing the sliver ability is fine. Cat will move back into a very crowded DZ. All right. So Ron gets in the tank, moves to the DZ. No problem with that. Wicked Kang bounces Pope's Kang back. He plays Unholy Smoke because he wants to get rid of that fear. It's not on him. It's on another player. So he has to throw the Unholy Smoke out of the DZ, which negates the fear, pulls Cat back in. But because that is attack phase, he gets no E2 Milo. He does get the Sliver Pump ability, though. And that is the end of round number 2. Captains, give me your subs. At the end of the round, we have Crimson with a blessing. Valar with a blessing. Strawman 0-0. DZ. We've got Vox 25. Arc 0. Trigger. Getting a second Devil Horn for Crimson. Because Trigger is solo in a zone. Gemstone with a halo. Ron with a halo. Cat with a second halo. Trigger with a second halo. We're going to dim a Dragonstone. Slivers at the end of the round. Ark's going to lose one of their protections. Vox is going to lose one of theirs. Vox has 3. Ark has 1. Sliver, we got Vox with 25. Ark, 17. Shaman coming in for Pope. Cat. Losing her seal and her pet repel. Trigger. Losing pet repel. Ron. I'm sorry, seal. Ron losing his seal. Tim coming in for Trigger. Damn, that's a crowded DZ. There's literally 4 people in that DZ. All right, the order is as follows. It'll be Shaman, Cat, Julia, Tim, Valar, Crimson, Jim, and Ron. All right, before Sheila's turn, we're going to cap a boss. First boss for Team Ark. We're also going to cap 3 of those Kangs. Why is it 3? Because Ron bounced one. $209 points for Ark and Kangs. All right, let's go over to the Shaman. 20-second timer, Shaman. Did not beat the timer. Did beat the timer. As I was saying it, she got it typed. Cyborg Slim. I don't have Slim in front of me if you guys want to give me that info. It's the one that's rarely played. Or do I have it? I have it. No lingering smoke, dust, torment, vial, or mere smoke. And 50% heals this round, Ron. So you can't play any of those lingering smokes. I added it to my notes. Boss to Main Street, banish wand to Julia. She cannot be launched or ejected. White wands are off the board, also known as the Nirvana wands. Let's get that boss to Main Street. Sheila playing boss in 3 with cap in 5. Seal and Thrill, H9 monster loaded, so Sheila's going to come all the way down here in range. Get a Seal and Thrill. And MD8's got him up to MD40. A lot of juice on that. Crimson going to play Mythic Gold Blue. All right, Mythic is going to hit Sheila for 40% and block her grenade. That'll take the Shaman down to 60% health before her seal. So Cyborg Slim, no lingering smokes. All of Vox's heals are 50% effective. Boss to Main Street, banish wand, seal and thrill, big grenade shot with a lot of stuff, and the Mythic. I'm sorry, it's 30%. Yes, banish wand would keep Julia from being ejected or moved by any means specific to her. Remember, it has to be an eligible target. So it'd be equivalent to playing a cyborg on a person that was able to use Sly Shaw. So for this round, she cannot be ejected or launched or moved by any means. Okay? Sheila going to play Max Absorb, which will prevent her from taking that 30% damage. All right, let's go over to Cat, 20-second timer from the DZ. All right, Cat going to play Voyage to Catapult Valar. All right, so it is a Mythic Dark Blue. That means Vox's next grenade, Ark's next grenade, will be 25% nerfed. All right. Cat going to play Voyage, Catapult Valar, Colossal Kang, Seal and Thrill, S8 Unforgiven to the Wall, and MD8. Now, remember, Cat does not have a rover, so we got to move Cat up to the no zone to make that happen. All right, move her to the no zone so she gets in range of the wall. Going to play Legendary to Catapult Valar. That is going to knock Valar out of the temple. It's also going to squash Valar, which is going to remove all her buffs. No pet repel, no seal. And she'll deal half damage next turn. Cat also gets a wave award. All right, Julia says, wait. Okay. Voyage catapults Valar out of the temple. Colossal Kang to their boss. Let's give her that Colossal Kang, which could be worth 73. S8 Unforgiven to the wall. Julia's going to use gold blue, their second one. The gold from the gold blue is going to hit Cat. Take her down to 80% health. All right, and I also got a Dominari, no wave award for Cat. Dominari. It's hated. All right, let's go over to Julia. Yes, that's another good challenge, Ron. Cat would have kept her rover because the Unholy reversed that out. Let's keep her down here in the DZ. Now, if you guys are wondering, she was initially feared out of the rover, and then that Unholy not only brought her back, it just reversed the whole move, so she would keep the rover. Grenade still stopped. Julie going to move to her DZ. Going to play Red Gideon. Say minus 22 for Vox. Pet Repel, Rage Tonic. Trex to the wall with Amp 3. All right. And Trex as a grenade. Going to get rid of 2 blocks automatically. Doesn't matter what the rage is. So take both those blue blocks off the board. Blue block, blue block. Back down to the red for Team Arc. Nice grenade. One of my favorite. All right, before Sir Tim's turn, before his turn, we're going to cap 219 points in Kangs. Vox's first flag. Flags are 1-1. And we go to Sir Tim now, 20-second timer. We have Tim, Valar, Crimson Jim, and Ron. Beats the timer. Going DZ portal to the other side. Going to turn into a priest. Needle to the haystack. Tim playing needle in 1. I'm sorry, in 3 would cap in round 4. 3 and 4. I'm going to steal Sheila's Kang. Shaman with no Kang. Day before her birthday. You can't no SP3, Ron, because it was the first thing that was done. So it would be no sliver. Once it says hit, I have to go with the first ability. So DZ Portal, Legendary, Needle, Ability, Seal, Grenade, and no sliver. Oh, he's a priest. Well, it actually, the ability happens first. So he's not a priest. Yeah, this is, all right. Here's the way it has to play out, because the way it was typed and because she said hits. If it is a eligible move, it happens. All right? So, abilities always happen first. So what basically just happened is a sniper played an ability to steal the Kang, the seal, the pet, the movement, and then turned into a priest with a legendary that will not be able to be used. And because Julia was quick on the draw and said hits, I got to lock it in. So St. Elmo to the Watchtower. They get the Elmo points. Movement, pet, seal, no sliver, turns into a priest, but does not have an ability because the ability was used prior. All right, before Villar's turn, going to cap Villar's boss. Flags are 2-1. Villar, 20-second timer. All right, 1 second. Okay, Ron, let me explain. An ability is an ability, whether it is a gear ability or a class ability. If you're a warrior and you use rage, your ability goes on a stack. So for sake of an ability, it's semantics. It doesn't matter whether it's a gear ability or a class ability. It's still an ability that happens and gets locked in before other things happen. If you move, if you use a prevention, the prevention is the thing that prevents it from happening. It takes precedence over it. So sliver ability does not trump that. Your player typed the wrong move. You got to own it. All right. Talon Sheila to the temple. Heal and seal. Gold Spark over to Crimson. S6 Unforgiven to the wall with Amp 3. They're going to use gold blue. And the gold from the gold blue is going to prevent the Unforgiven and is going to deal 20% damage to Valar, taking her down to 80%. Crimson's gold sparked, and she's got a 50% buff with the horn, so it'll even itself out. Crimson, 20-second timer. Valar using max absorb, which will keep her to 100%. Crimson going to go Dark Boss to the side chest. Dark Boss in 3 with cap in 5. Going to send a seal over to Ron. Going to use the Sliver ability to pump that up to 30. And Max Mike to the wall. Sheila's going to use a prevention. Dark Boss is good. Max Seal is good. And it is not a lingering smoke, so it is a good smoke. And the prevention to the grenade. All right, let's go to Gemstone from the DZ. 20-second timer. Beats the timer. Going to go Dark Boss to their chest. Jim playing Dark Boss in 3 with cap in 5. One second. All right. I want to clarify something. A sacrifice is not an ability. A sacrifice to the sliver is a sacrifice to the sliver. Does everybody understand that? A sliver ability is pumping the sliver 5 points. That is your ability. Does everybody understand that? You can sacrifice the grenade to give your sliver an additional ring. It is a sliver sacrifice. All right. All right. Dark balls to their chest. Seal and thrill. S6 monster loaded to the wall with amplify. Now, as a follow-up, how many times may you sacrifice as an individual player to your sliver per game? One time. One time per player, per game. Okay. Well, make sure. I know. Look, hey, it's been a while. It's been a while since we played these for some people. So I want you guys to understand. We got abilities and we got sacrifices. Sacrifice is a freebie for you guys to keep that sliver alive if you have the grenade. All right. Moving on. So Ron says it hits. Let's get that S6 monster grenade. Gemstone is in the tank. Let's make it an S8. Sorry, we're round 3. We're going to make it S9. S9 monster with mass destruction and amplify. Red block, and 30% of a red block. 1.7 is remaining. Big hit by Jim with the tank, and let's go to Father Ron. Final move of round 3, 20-second timer. All right. We've got 2 Crypt Dragons. Crimson, delete yours. Actually, Crimson, hold up. Hold up. There can only be 1 Crypt Dragon played per turn. So leave it for a second. So Intaglio was typed in first. I'll add the damage to Intaglio. 1.7. I'll explain to you how this is going to go, too. All right, 1.7. We get rid of the 0.7. And now we have half a red block remaining, so it's 0.5. Now, Kromaka resolves at the end of the turn. No, Kromaka was not. All right. All right, we're going to take a 2-minute break. I need both teams. You guys get your players under control. You guys, there's way too much going on right now. We already had a Kromaka played. I'm going to ask both captains, get in your chat, get your teams focused. We'll be back in 2 minutes, all right? All right, I am back. First thing, I'm going to say a couple things here. One, if you are a player in a game, do not message me about a rule or a call, especially if you're wrong about that. If you do that, it will penalize your team going forward. I know sometimes people think they got to defend their team and they got to make a case. I'm going to tell you, these games need to go forward, and you have the ability to challenge in stream. If that challenge is denied, you move on from it. So if you message me and you're a player, you will get a penalty and probably wish that your team wouldn't have shown up. All right? Let's be crystal clear with that. I don't have open lines of communication with all players. I have a competition committee, and if there's something that they need to message me or we check it, we check it. Everybody clear with that? Even if you think you know the rule, you play the game. Because these games are limited on time. The other thing, it's more beneficial for you guys to move on. You have the ability to challenge. If something doesn't go your way, move on. If you challenge me, we're wrong, we'll look into it, we'll fix it, which we've already done tonight for both teams. All right, secondly, we're going to get back to, I don't mind answering some of the questions when you guys ask the question. Like earlier, there was a challenge to a question about what would happen with a fly, and I answered that question. So I don't mind stopping and answering some of those questions. There's a lot of items. We all get a little rusty sometimes. Perfectly fine. But the spirit of the game is to play the game. I know you guys want to win the game, but we want to keep the game going and give both teams a chance to go out and play their best. All right. So, Kromaka was played prior. So we got Kromaka on Jim's move. Now, what I was going to say prior to that is, even if Kromaka would have been played on this move, you can only have one Crypt Dragon per move, but Julia's Intaglio, even if it's played first, would resolve. So that would be the end of the move. So even if Crimson had that Kromaka available, she could have played it because the points would tally at the end of the move. It's not like two dragons, one that adds rage and one that takes it away. Kromaka is a point dragon, which means it would resolve at the end of the turn. So hopefully there's an understanding of that. A lot of what we do is based on turn-based. It's when the thing actually happens, and sometimes that can be a little bit confusing. All right. Everybody good? We ready to get back to it? Okay. So we got Ron's move. Going to fly Jim and Sheila and move to the sniper zone. And you can drive the tank to the sniper zone. All right. Sheila is going to eclipse Jim. Ron's going to play a needle. We'll get to that in a second. Ron playing needle in 3 with cap in 4. So going to eclipse Jim. Eclipse is a blink. We will move Sheila. Pick and stick. Thrill Smoke F5 Goliath to the wall with MD8. All right, Julia, grenade hits. And it is tank and sniper zone. All right, Ron. F5, 6, 7, 8. Mass destruction, sniper attack. Going to an S8 Grizzly. Been a while, but we got 30% green block, blue block, and 20% of a blue block. So 80 blue remaining. 1.8. All right, that is the end of round number 3. At the end of round number 3, one of the longest rounds we've ever had. Believe it or not, it started with a catapult 40 minutes ago. Crimson getting a blessing. Gemstone with a blessing. Cat with a halo. Tim with a halo. Julia is no longer tormented, and Julia with a halo. So basically, it worked out 2 people in each other's DZ. So DZ is going to be 0-0, and no halos and no horns. Strawman, 0-0. Sliver. At the end of the round, we got a Sliver Saver going away. Arc is down to 0 again. And Vox is down to 2. Vox 30 points per round. Arc 17. All right, we're going to start round number 4. Sheila. 20-second timer. Beats the timer. All right. Sheila's going to play Needle to the Haystack. Basically, her needle is going to be gobbled up by Grendel. There are currently no Grendels available. Sheila's going to move to the temple. She cannot move because pick and stick. She's stuck. Gold Spark Crimson, who's already gold sparked. So it fizzles. She'll stay gold sparked. S8 Super Thrill Unicorn loaded from Grenade Launcher with Amp. So a lot of that move is not happening. But there's a lot of Amplify. There's 1 block left. Ron going to prevent it. Okay, Needle is gobbled up. She can't move. Gold Spark, there's already 1. S8 Super Thrill Unicorn. Ron wants to use the prevention because he didn't want to take any chances on the Unicorn. Smart move. And the Amp is good. All right, let's go over to Cat from the DZ in the Rover. 20 seconds. Cat. Beat the timer. Going to Talon Tim to the temple. Got a nice ring to it. Talon Tim to the temple. Thrill Smoke, H9 Unforgiven to the wall with Amplify. Julia hits her weight. All right, they're going to Judas it to their wall. Ron. It hits. All right. That is going to take down the wall, and Jim is going to get a gold bar for the Judas. Let's rebuild it. Give Ark their first full wall. All right, let's go over to Julia. 20-second timer, Julia. Beats the timer. She's going to move to the bomber zone. Seal and Thrill. S8 Snowstorm loaded to the wall with Sliver ability. Pump up Arc Sliver to 22. Ron says, wait. Crimson going to prevent the snowstorm. And Ron, she cannot because Julia has Cube of Clarity. All right, it hits. It is a S9. Wall 2, a little bit stronger. There's a lot of Amplify. 15 Amplify and 40 Mass Destruction. Black block. Green block, 25% of a green block. I got 75 green remaining. And roll a 6-sider for the snowstorm. Block number 3 is going to be frozen. All right, before Sir Tim's move, we're going to cap another needle for Team Box. Needle number 2. All right, Tim's on the clock, 20-second timer. Easily beats the timer. Go Mythic Kang to his boss. Could be worth 63. Good to see you, Tim, playing on a Wednesday night. Dragon Smoke the DZ. Blue Spark T10 Unforgiven, and Sacrifice Snowstorm to his. All right, big grenade hit coming in for Tim. Julie says it hits. Plus they play the Dragon Smoke. $10, $11, S11, 16 Mass Destruction. Blue block. Blue block. Oh, and it stops right there with the snowstorm. Tim was going to be on a roll, but the snowstorm shut him down. All right, let's go over to Valar. 20-second timer, Valar. Beat the timer. Valar is going to go over to Temple Steps. Colossal Gideon. Minus 38. Blackout 1, there'll be no DZ points or benefits this round. Abyss Wands are out of play. Going to go Dust to Crimson. She is Gold Sparked and Dusted, but she does have that 50% buff. And S8 Maximon, and Valar is going to pump up the Sliver to 27. Ron says, wait. Going to use a prevention. All right, movement's good. Gideon's good. Blackout's good. Dust is good. Crimson using the prevention, and she can use it on this one. All right, let's go over to Crimson. 20-second timer. Gold Sparked and Dusted, but she has 2 of the Devil Horns. Missed a timer. Attack is nerfed. Did beat the second timer. Tigress their wall. Going to play Blight as a needle. Someone stole her needle earlier, so she used her dragon to replicate it. Crimson playing needle in 4 with cap in 5. Amp 3 to her wall. Be 2 charges to Tigress. And it hits. And the S6 Max Mike to their wall. Going to rebuild the green. And going to rebuild the next green. Now here's the way Tigress works. Because it has to know how many blocks are left, Tigress resolves after the wall damage. So once those walls are built, then the nerf, 2 charges of it, go back on the wall. All right, let's go to Gemstone. 20-second timer gem. Valar playing Hemlock, which she can, to remove a green block. Same rules will apply. All right, Jim got her move in. So because Valar played Hemlock, she's able to steal a green block. So again, just like Crimson's move, you steal a green block. Tigress will now be on that block. Mythic Needle to the haystack. S8 monster loaded to the wall with sliver ability. Arc slivers up to 32. All right, let's get the Mythic Needle out. Jim playing Needle. In 4 with cap in 5. And the monster grenade, Ron is going to use Mythic Sonar and Gold Sonar. %45 nerf. Now Arc has 40% mass destruction. So, Ron, basically getting rid of the mass destruction. Now, we've got the Amplify to deal with, but they also have a Tigress. 2 of them. So that Tigress is going to slow down the attack as well. So we got a full green block. Tigress will slow it down, but able to take the green block out That's the first charge of Tigress. The next one will hit as normal, which would be 50% blue. All right, that's all the damage that's done, and there's still one charge of Tigress left on the wall. So that is 2.5 blue blocks remaining. And Jim pumping up the sliver. Arc now at 32 points. I'm going to do a quick needle check. There should be, Ron's needle is going to cap. So there's 2 left on the board, which is Crimson and Jim. So third needle for Team Vox. All right, Ron, 20-second timer. Did not beat it, but did beat the nerf timer. Vines to Sheila, Skull to Sheila, S6 Bunko to the wall, and Needle and Sap Sheila, which will only matter if Sheila is still in the game. All right, hits. So Vines. Ron will get an absorption. Bunko to the wall. Break that ice block. A little bit of damage to the needle. Jim's needle down to 70% health. We'll light a watchtower because of the scold. And Sap, the other stuff, will not work if she's subbed out, so it will not matter. All right, that is the end of the round. Now, a couple interesting things here. Captains, give me your round 5 subs. Arc, pump their sliver up to 32. Problem is, they don't have any halos on their sliver. So the Arc sliver dies. So no points for Arc. Over on the other side, Vox loses one of their halos, but they get 30 points again. A critical error for Team Vox, pumping the sliver 3 times without sacrificing to keep it alive. DZ is 0-0 because the blackout wand. So no halos. Strawman 0-0. Crimson and Tim. In the temple. Jim's going to lose her seal. Kat's finally going to lose that rover. Jim losing her tank. Dow for Shaman, busy in the ozone. Julia losing her rover. Cat losing her seal because of elevation. She is in the DZ. This wasn't a whole lot of room there. Crimson no longer gold sparked. All right. Should have the lineups right. Both teams do have their sentry guns in play. Order is as follows. It'll be Dow, Cat, Julia, Dr. Dye, Valar, Crimson, Jim, Ron, Busy, and Nightshade. As an FYI, the game will have 3 minutes added to it. So the ending time will be 10:48 due to the 3-minute break we ended up taking. So 10:48 will be the final time. All right. So we will start out before Dow's turn. We're going to cap boss number 3 for Team Arc. Dow, you're up. 20-second timer. Going to move to the temple. Talon Valar to the temple. Monster loaded to the wall. Gold Spark Crimson and Dust Crimson. It's the curse of when you have all those horns. People are going to nerf you, right? All right. Before it hits, because this is out of order, Dow, is that a E8 monster or is that a Mass Destruction 8? It does say E8. So I would interpret it as a E8 monster and mass destruction. All right, so there's no rage on that grenade, correct? What is the E8? Is that the rage or is it mass destruction? Normally we type our potions before the grenade. That's why I'm asking. All right. Ron. It's in there, but it's out of order. It is going to be an E8 monster. Does it hit still? All right, does hit. So mass destruction is up to 48. Dow with a E8 monster loaded. Try to type the rage before the grenade. It helps us out. There is Tigress. So we are going to nerf the hit. But barely going to make up for the mass destruction. So we're still going to amplify the grenade and add the E8 to it. So 50% blue. We take a blue block and we take 25%. So you ended up getting 1.75 from it. I've got 0.25 blue remaining, Team Arc. So 4 red and 1 blue. They're going to evoke it 2 times. Double evoke. We'll take out the blue and we'll take out a red block. All right, adding a legendary pump to it. Ron says, wait. Ah, Diana gonna evoke 2 times. All right, once they let the invoke hit, we pump it up 2 times, and then they're gonna evoke it. And we will keep it where we were. $25 of a blue block. Balar going to intalio it to add a little more rage to it. We'll take that 25%, and we won't quite give you the red, but we'll give you 25% of a red with intalio. So I got 0.75%, so 3.75. All right. Pumped it up, nerfed it, and then add a little rage to it. 3.75 is where we are. Cat, your move, 20-second timer. Beats the timer. Go move to her DZ. Vines to Dow. Scold. F5 summoning grenade to the watchtower. And Plague Julia. Julia, hits or wait? It hits. All right. Vine's going to remove Dow's gear absorption. Scold will hit Dow. We're going to take him down to 90%. Going to give Cat an absorption. It's going to light Watchtower number 5. F5 summoning grenade. It's going to light Watchtower number 6. Also going to summon a Mythic Watcher to put right there. Mythic Watcher is worth 20 points. And going to Plague Julia, which means no smokes, no potions on her next turn. And it is her next turn. Julia, 20-second timer. Julia's going to Kamari to the Ozone. She's going to Sirs, which will get rid of Plague. Super Thrill, H9 Unicorn loaded to the wall. Plague Crimson. And pointing out her blast gems. All right, Ron, this is going to be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's a lot. Ron says wait. And going to play Crimson. No smokes, no potions on Crimson's turn. Nightshade going to intervene. All right, Julia's at the Ozone. Sirs gets rid of the negatives. Intervene, stops the grenade, and basically Plague hits. Dr. Die, 20-second timer. Actually, hold up, Dr. Die. All right, that's Crimson's boss. You're still good there. All right, go ahead. 20 seconds. Just want to check which order the boss came in. Timer is up. Nerf timer is up. Second timer's up. Do we have Dr. Die? All right. Going to DZ Portal. Red Watcher. Seal. Rage Summoning Grenade, and Sliver ability to pump the Sliver up to 35. All right. Now you're playing a Red Watcher. So, and a Summoning Grenade hits, the only thing you can summon is a Orbital, if you have it, because you've already played your Red Watcher. So do you have, okay, what color is your Orbital? All right, regular Orbital. All right, could be worth 15 if it caps. All right, let's go over to Valar. 20-second timer, Valar. Valar beats the timer. She's going to go Thraxus for an E3 in Dragonstorm. Kruger, Torment Ron. Blue Spark, F4 Gavel, Plague Nightshade. No smokes, no potions for Nightshade. Nightshade going to pawn if Ron's Torment. All right, and Kruger is going to take away one of those. All right, Kruger, Torment goes away, so we got a F5 equivalent, F4 plus the Blue Spark, plus Mass Destruction, plus Amplify. It's 0.75. Take the 7.5, take that block, and a 7.5. So she gets 2 full blocks with the grenade, the mass destruction, and the amplify added. So 1.75 remaining for Team Arc. All right, before Crimson's turn, we're going to cap needle number 4. Crimson, 20-second timer. No smokes, no potions. Move to Temple Steps. Skull to Dow, Unforgiven to the Wall, Plague Gem. Skull to Dow will light Watchtower number 6, give Crimson an absorption. Unforgiven with no juice except a blue spark, so it is going to be a S1 Unforgiven. %, of a blue block after mass destruction. So I've got 3.5. 3.5 red remaining box. Before Gemstone's turn, we're going to cap Ark's first needle. "20-second time, Gem, and you cannot use smokes or potions." Gem, Ron, Busy, and Nightshade. Did not beat the timer. Didn't beat the nerf timer either. All right, going to move to her DZ. She is plagued. Mythic Gideon, monster to the wall. All right, she had the movement first. And because she moved to the DZ, the grenade will fizzle. Actually, it will not fizzle. You have to redirect it to a valid target, because it's not an eligible target. So it does have to be a monster, Gem, but you got to give me a target that's in range. And I can tell you the only target that's in range is Crimson. Nobody else is on close enough to the map. Crimson is on the stairs, so she would be the only valid target. Never mind. Sorry. Dr. Dye is there too. So pick between Dr. Dye and Crimson. I didn't see Dr. Dye moved over. Go ahead, reconfirm. All right, it is going to be Crimson. Ron, does it still hit? Can't use max absorption on a grenade. You do have an absorption, though. So Ron is going to hit or no? All right, does hit. All right. So it is a regular monster grenade with no juice. Crimson does have the absorption from prior. So it will hit that and will not deal enough damage even after the mass destruction to break her seal. All right, Mythic Gideon, though. Is a -28 for Team Box. Movement's good. Mythic Gideon. Grenade has to have a target. She chose Crimson. It hits, gets rid of her absorption. Let's go over to Ron. 20-second timer to Ron. We got Ron, Busy, and Nightshade. Ron going to move back to the sniper zone. Can't have your tank, though. Mythic Stasis over to Dow. Max Seal to Crimson. Going to Plague Dow. Final Plague of the game for Team Box. Intervene the grenade. All right. Move to the sniper zone, good. Mythic Stasis, good. Max Seal to Crimson. E3 Maximon is prevented, and a Plague to Dow. Now remember, plagues have no effect in round number 6. So it will dissipate since Dow does not get a move until round number 6. All right, let's go to Busy B. 20-second timer, Busy. Busy going to jump in the turret. Turn into a Priestess. Needle to the haystack. Will probably not cap, but good luck to you. Bless your heart, Busy. Busy playing Needle in 5. Theoretically would cap in 6. T10 Summoning Grenade to the wall. Mass Destruction. And Max Spark. Nightshade. Ron says, wait. Red, blue from Dr. Die. Summon a Mythic Orbital to the wall. Mythic Orbital could be worth 22 points. And the red-blue will break Busy's gear absorption. Turret's good. Priestess is good. Needle. Torment the cat. Summoning Grenade will not summon a Mythic Orbital because it was prevented. Sorry, Busy. No Mythic Orbital for you either. You do get the Mass Destruction, though. 56 is the total. All right, Nightshade, 20-second timer. No smokes, no potions. Get in the turret, Skull to Dow, Blue Spark, Rage Tonic, Grizzly with MD8. This will be the final move and will conclude the round. All right. Prevent Scold. And prevent the grenade. All right. And that is very interesting situation. All right. That's a game, everybody. And we do get to the end of round number 5. So at the end of round number 5, a few things are going to happen. We've got, let's give a blessing to Team Arc, Valar, and Dow. Strawman, 0-0. Vox, 25 DZ, Arc 0. Angel Wings, go to Crimson. It's 25-point Angel Wings for Team Arc, or Team Vox, sorry. We got Julia with an Occupy and a Bronze Star. Let's count the blessings. We've got 3. Make it 4. Blessings for Vox, which is exactly what they needed. Means they will get their orbital. They'll get a full block. And we'll take down all 4 of the red blocks. Over on the other side, we got 3 blessings, which means Arc will take down those 2. They'll get 1 black block. Now, I expect this game to be extremely close because both teams went about it in different ways. So you can look up and see the way the math is going to turn out. So one side we got needles and we got wings and halos. The other side we've got bosses, an extra wall. So it's going to be pretty close. So if you're on either team, cross your fingers. Hope that you did enough. DZ Halos should be Cat with 4, Jim with 3. Won't matter because it was still going to be Jim and Cat, or Cat and Jim first and second either way. So Cat will get 100, Jim will get 50 in the DZ. Make sense, Ron? Yes. Arc has 4 bosses. It's on the scorecard, it's just not on the, it's on the score sheet, but not on the scoreboard. Any other questions before I start tallying? You guys good? All right. Good luck, both teams. We'll be back shortly. Sliver points were assigned also to Vox that round. 35 points. Arc 0. 35-0. And Vox did get their second flag as well. It's on the scorecard. It's not up there. We also got a Kang for Vox right here. Just so you guys know, it's 2. And they did get their Kang as well. All right, everybody, we are back, and we do have a total, and as I said, this is a extremely close game, and unfortunately, we didn't get to play the whole game. There's a lot of things that went down. It'd have been nice if we would have played the whole game, because who knows what the outcome would have been. I like seeing some Dragon Storm. However, we did have some timer issues and a couple other things as well. So I'm going to break it down and give you how each team performed. Both teams left a little bit on the table. We'll start out with flags. Flags, we had Ark with 4 flags. We had Vox with 2 flags. That's a 300-point advantage. Now, Vox did have a good strategy to make up some of that, so we'll get to that in a minute. But walls, it was slow sailing. Ark normally blowing up walls. Vox slowed it down a little bit with some of the max mics. And, it's just chugging along. Ark did manage to get 2 full walls down, but it took some of the blessings as well. Wall totals were 605 to 300. So once you get to those 2, you got Ark again at home with a nice, comfortable lead there. That's about a 600-point advantage right out of the gates. But we get to Kangs. This is where Vox started to make their move. Kangs, Vox won the Kang game, 282 to 209. So that cuts that lead down to about 500 points. Get to Needles. Needles, we had 4 for Team Vox, 1 for Ark. That's another 300-point advantage right there. Now you've only got Ark up by about 200 points. They did get the Siege with Julia. So managed to rotate, not a lot to slow her down. That adds another 150. But we've got the Watchtower with Vox. So that was 150. So again, you got that 200-point advantage right there. Ark managed to get 50 points in the Watchtower. So Ark again, a little bit of an edge. And then the DZ, there were no avalanches, but Vox did manage to get 75 points in the DZ. Timers. Timers were a challenge for Team Vox tonight. They had negative 55 points in timers. Ark had 1 missed timer. So just in the core points, before we get to the extras, the slivers and everything else, Ark with a slight advantage, very close, 1854 to 1602. So how was Vox going to make that up? Well, they had a cannonball, they had a tire, they had a horn, 2 horns and a wing, which is 125 points, and Cat had the DZ. So the DZ was 4 rounds. Now, luckily, Ark rotated Jim over there to get those rounds as well. Ron bolted up to the sniper zone, didn't stay in the DZ, but that 100 points right there gives Vox a total of 225. Let's go over to the other side and see if Vox put a dent in Ark's lead. Well, they had a gold bar, a cannonball, a tire, 50 PCP DZ, and then Julia got the bronze star, so that's 175. So that cuts 50 points off of it right there. So then the game's pretty close. Now we got to get to the extras. What are the extras? The extras are Dark Bosses, Chromicas, Mythic Watchers, Red Watchers, Milos, Elmos, Orbs, all of the above, and then Slivers. Overall, Vox, before Slivers, they had 165 bonus points. That's your Dark Bosses, your Chromica, your Watchers, your Milos, and your Elmos. However, Ark played defensive pets. They had a Wicked Boss, Red Gideon, Colossal Gideon, Mythic Gideon. They had minus 148. But you get to the Slivers, and Vox had a good Sliver game. They pumped it up pretty well. They had 135 points in Slivers. So overall, Vox added 152 points in extras. Go over to Ark. If Vox can slow Ark down, they got the win. But they didn't play any defensive mechanisms against them. We had a Chromica, a Dark Boss, a Milo. They played a Maximon to deduct points from Vox. And then they only had 3 rounds of Slivers, which is 51. However, that did give them a net of 116. Super close game, down to the wire. Ark barely holding on at home, 21-45. Vox, 19-79. So again, if we get through the 6th round, you never know what that 6th round is going to entail. especially if Vox is able to get a little bit more DZ points. So super, super close. Great job to both teams. Hopefully, as we get further in the season, the games go faster and we don't get hung up on some of the other stuff. So great job tonight, both teams. Congratulations. Ark edging one out in a super, super close, somewhat chippy game. Have a good night, everybody. Talk to you all soon. Peace.